So my recent little adventure out to the East Coast, and yes, in less than 2 weeks, I've traveled from San Francisco, California, out to Raleigh and Charlotte, North Carolina. Um, yeah, it was interesting, right? Because I do like to get to the airports early in the morning, right? I don't have to fight people at the at TSA going through security. I don't have to fight people. I don't go to ticket counters anymore. I mean, I use everything on my phone, but I don't have to fight the crowds. Now, there's some downside to traveling early, right? There's nothing usually open, so no restaurants, coffee shops, things like that. When you get to the airport pretty early in the morning, that particular trip, we actually got up at 2 o'clock in the morning in order to get to the airport fairly early. 4 o'clock, had a really early flight. First flight out, right, 6 o'clock in the morning. So usually board fairly early on that flight. Then we had some malfunctions on the aircraft. They couldn't get the door closed. So they had a guy come out, technician come out, work on the door. And then that took a couple of hours, and then they have to do paperwork, and the paperwork takes longer to do apparently than to do the actual repair on the aircraft. Well, I missed my flight. My connection flight in Chicago, Illinois. So they got me from Charlotte to Chicago. Then instead of going directly to Colorado, I had to get on another flight, so I had a 4-hour delay. I had another flight that go from Chicago to Dallas, and then Dallas to Colorado. That entire little excursion, that little trip, took a little over, it took me over 18 hours to get home, right? 18 hours to get home. That is a long time to be on the road traveling all day. And so, it was a little hectic. I was a little pissed off. So, it is what it is. But hey, travel time is what it is, and we account for those things, right? That's why when we travel, we always look at worst case scenario, never best case scenario. I've been very lucky in my time of traveling, but I think the biggest problem, and this is why I posted that video about Southwest. So when I say travel, 17 hours, probably I was awake for 17 hours by the time I got home. So it was a little taxing, right? But the problem with Southwest is you can, when you book your flights, if you don't have any preferred status or anything, you can pay to get in the A loading column, right? Or the first people on the plane, because Southwest loads A, B, C, and then D, if there are any. But we were on the A loading, so that means we get first choice of seats, so you can usually get an aisle seat, and you usually have quite a bit of overhead compartment space to put your luggage. Well, when they rescheduled our flights and gave us different, on different flights, they bumped us from A to C, which meant no overhead storage, middle or window seats were the only things that were available. And most of the time, it's not even a window seat, it's the middle seat, right? And so you basically get all of the leftovers. So I had to check my bag because there was no space to put it on the aircraft when you're in C, boarding group C. I got a middle seat. And seats on airlines anymore, guys, are getting tighter and tighter, right? Smaller and smaller. I'm not a small guy, right? I'm not, I'm not a huge guy either, but my shoulders are fairly broad, right? So sitting in the seat, I'm kind of sitting like this, people next to you constantly bumping elbows and stuff. It's just a hassle and a nightmare. And, but you know what? It is what it is. It is my choice to travel and the type of work that I do, and that's okay, right? That's okay. I understand those risks. I understand, what's involved when I travel, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I like to fly United, where I can book my flight and book my seat, so I know exactly where I'm sitting. If I need to check a bag, the beauty of United is, if there's no overhead space, I can door check the bag. They'll put it down underneath and then bring it to me. so I don't have to actually look for overhead space. They'll bring it back to me as I'm getting off the jet wing there. As I come off the aircraft, they'll have my suitcase. I'll stand there, or the suitcase will be there, and I'll just grab it and go. But I can always have my suitcase with me, so that I know my suitcase makes it to my next destination. So Southwest doesn't offer any of that. You either check a bag all the way through, or you keep it with you. If they have to check your bag or put it underneath the aircraft, you don't get that back until your final destination. So again, that's just some of the challenges that I had. You've been up, since 2 o'clock in the morning and didn't get home till after 5:30 at night, and then it makes for an awfully long day, especially since I lose 2 hours, when I'm coming back home. So it just made for a long day. I was a little irritated, a little frustrated, especially being bumped, having to check my bag, and then hopefully the bag makes it on the next aircraft. Again, those are some of the things that you kind of run into when you travel, but that's my story about my travel. And I just wanted to clarify that and get it out so that you guys know where my frustrations are. But all in all, the one thing that I think is so critical when I make these trips is that the businesses that we go out to help actually get help when we go out there. So regardless of the travel hassles and the headache, the mission was accomplished. The businesses that we went out to see did benefit from the trip. Those kind of business trips are not always easy, but and sometimes you have to tell the owners things that they don't want to hear, but they do need to hear the reality of their situation, whatever that is. And then that allows them to have the right information to make really, really good decisions to help their business be profitable and productive for the future. So that's ultimately why we do it. That's why I do what I do, is to help small businesses get to where they want to be, right? And so that's the story. That's the whole scenario. I just thought I'd put that out there so you guys have some context into the 2 short videos that I posted. But leave me some comments below if you had any frustrations with traveling, any kind of strange things. I got a lot more travel stories, but that's the most recent. I thought I'd just put that out there. But again, guys, leave me some comments. If you like the content, again, hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, so you get notified each and every time we upload a video, or I upload a video, because it's basically just me. I don't have a team or anything like that. But I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.